There we go. Okay. So, sorry, I had turned down my mic. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I just tried a new way of streaming, like setting up a live event through the broadcaster that I'm using. Anyways, I'm learning. Here we go. So I just wanted to give a couple shout outs to everybody in the chat that was here nice and early. Chris Iden, Miss Peter Rabbit, Franco, Michael Labella. Who else is here? Hillbilly Heaven. Awesome. Okay. Let me know that you guys can hear me all right. It seems to be coming through okay. Looks like I have visual. Everything looks okay on my end here. Awesome. So I'm just going to kind of dive into a few things. So the title of this stream is Markets Rebound. So we did see a pretty good rebound of the Bitcoin price the last couple days here. We saw a low. I'm looking on my screen. Let me just fade into that so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So this is the daily chart on Bitstamp. And so over here, you can see that we hit a peak of 49.79, just shy of 49.80. And then we dropped down, if I can zoom in a little bit here, maybe scroll over. So we had this low of right over 4,000, just over 4,000, and then we started rebounding. So the past couple days we've been coming up, and then a little bit of a dip, but we were up pretty high. We went to 46. What was it? A high of 46, 49. So I mean that's pretty good recovery, especially when I zoom out here and you look, and this is August 1st, the beginning of August, kind of near the bottom part of this chart. So in just over a month that we've gone up like a good like 2,000. We're still up 2,000 from about a month ago. So not bad at all. I can't complain. So do I think it's going to keep going up, or are we going to blast through new all-time highs? Well, I think eventually, absolutely, yes. I don't know if we're done with this downtrend or not. I was looking pretty good, and we got into the 2600s earlier today, but then we got this sudden dip. It went down to 24 something. Now it's back in the 44 something. I'm still used to the 2000s. It hasn't been that long. Now we're back in the 45, 20 something. It's coming back up. No, nothing really surprises me with Bitcoin anymore, but yeah, I could feasibly see us revisiting some lower lows if we can't keep this trend. Like if this next daily candle doesn't close higher than the previous one, then I could see it continuing in a bit of a downtrend for a little while. But that being said, things move very, very quickly. And like we're looking at the daily chart here. I'll fade in one more time, but we're looking at the daily chart here. And I mean, for a daily chart to have a range of like $2,500 when, like it's pretty insane when you think about it. So I mean, if there is a continued downtrend, then I'm buying. Like I'm not going to sit at the sidelines and wait for cheap Bitcoin to pass me by. And I had the same thing happen in 2015 when we're bottoming out at around $300 a coin. Still buying because I believe in the fundamentals behind Bitcoin, and I think it's gonna have one hell of a run. In my head, I still think that there's a lot of oomph left for the remainder of the year. Again, I can be wrong, but I don't know. This doesn't feel like a top to me yet. And working with some Bitcoin companies, you do get to recognize when everybody's rushing in and buying. People that know nothing about Bitcoin are just dropping thousands and thousands of dollars on it. That's when you know there's going to be a bit of a turnaround sometime soon. And I do see that from time to time. I saw that before the big dip that we had in, when was that? Sorry, I'm zooming out on my chart here so I can get a better idea of when that was. That would have been, I guess that would have been June going into July, when we had that huge dip down to 1800, which, I mean, now that looks great, but at the time it was everybody was panicking. Yeah, just before that, I see people coming in just dropping ridiculous amounts of money on something they don't even fully understand. And so that's usually a good signal. I did just see the other day somebody on a forum post they got a Bitcoin symbol tattooed on their knuckle, and that scares me a little bit. Somebody joked about the tattoo indicator, how there should be a tattoo indicator on the charts, because once people start getting tattoos of cryptocurrencies, there's bound to be a correction. So, yeah, anyways, take that with a grain of salt. Okay, let's see what I've got in the chat here. I'm gonna field some questions here. Franco says, I need a forum. Actually, I do have a, when you say forum, maybe I should have like a group on Facebook or something. I do have a Facebook page that people can go to, but yeah, it'd be better if it was more of like a group discussion. I agree. Maybe I'll put something like that together. Okay, let's see. Free cryptos, BTC sessions. Do you think it would be a good idea to buy Ethereum and sell it after the Metropolis update? After the Metropolis update for Bitcoin. So buy Ethereum, wait for the update, then sell it after the update and sell your Ether for Bitcoin. Then rejoice with a shitload of Bitcoin and Bitcoin GPU. I guess it depends on when Bitcoin GPU actually launches, because like there's no specific firm date. If you're trying to time that whole thing, you would want to be, because, that's a good question. I guess it depends what you think. If you think Ethereum's going to go through the roof after Metropolis, then yeah, I mean, load up on it. What do I think? I think that because this isn't really a contentious issue for Ethereum, for the most part, I'd say, like, everybody's just like, well, yeah, this is happening. So in instances like that, from what I've seen, it tends to, like, the build up, you see more price action, and then when it actually drops, like when the upgrade actually takes place, not much happens initially, and sometimes there's even a dip. Like we saw it on LITECOIN, the price built up, and then SegWit hit, and it kind of did nothing. I mean, down the road, yeah, now it's gone way up after the fact, but the initial hit, when everybody thinks, oh, it activated, it's gonna go crazy, well, it's not usually the case. Same thing with Bitcoin. You see it build up, and then we get an upgrade, and it's you know, nothing happens initially, and then, I mean, you know, we've seen some good price action since, but it wasn't like day one all of a sudden Bitcoin goes way up. Okay. So yeah, I don't know, up to you. I don't know what's going to happen with Ethereum with Metropolis. It's interesting because they're switching to proof of stake, which means the miners are no longer incentivized. There's like a difficulty bomb, so it's going to be super difficult to mine Ethereum. So that means, are they going to fork? I don't think they're going to fork, because then they can just also mine. Can't they just mine Ethereum Classic, or couldn't they just mine I guess Bitcoin Gold at this point, because it's GPU mining? I mean, I feel like they'd switch to one of those projects rather than try to fork Ethereum and hope that the fork is worthwhile. So yeah, good question. Okay, Anna Castro asks, any advice for first-time Bitcoin buyers? Yes, scale in slowly. Get used to how to use Bitcoin and send it around. Practice securing it. Practice paper wallets. Yeah, get comfortable, because if you start messing around with too much money, it's very easy to make mistakes. And I think a lot of people do that. So while it can be difficult, or, I mean, if you're worried about transaction fees on Bitcoin, which have been coming down with SegWit and everything, but if you're worried about sending around transactions with Bitcoin and it being expensive while you practice, then practice with something cheap that maybe you don't want to hold on to for a long time. Or, you know, grab some LITECOIN, figure out how to send that around. That's super cheap, right? So buy a LITECOIN, practice sending it wallet to wallet, practice doing a paper wallet, just do all those things that you'd like to do with a small amount of money, and then when you feel comfortable, gradually scale in. Also, don't use any money that you can't afford to lose. I hear way too often, oh, I took money that now I don't have money for groceries because I bought Bitcoin and it went down. What are you doing spending your grocery money on Bitcoin? That's so stupid. Don't do that. I mean, unless you can afford those crazy ups and downs, keep the money you need for your bills so you know you have that. And then if you have a little extra left over on the side that you can play around with, start there. Okay. Okay, let's see. Why does it say September 26th? So where does it say September 26th? That's weird. Okay. Well, I don't know. Beats me. That's weird. Okay. Tyler D says, if you sit down and think about this technology, we're only scratching the surface. I absolutely agree. I think most of the most common applications that we'll be using on top of the Bitcoin network, or utilizing blockchain technology in the future, they haven't even been dreamt up yet. Nobody conceived of things like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube when the internet was first starting. They didn't realize there would be this kind of like peer-to-peer interaction. Nobody could have conceived that I would be sitting in front of a camera, just like in my house with two screens in front of me, pulling up information on anything that I want, talking to a live group of people about digital currency. Nobody thought that was going to be anything that came down the line when the internet was invented. And I think Bitcoin will be equally transformative. And I just don't think that we've even conceived all the ways that it can possibly be used. Oh, yes. Chris Crypto, nice use of numbers in your name, says, first-time BTC buyers, hold Bitcoin in your own wallet. Yes, it is important to know the difference between a proprietary wallet, meaning that a company is holding your Bitcoin for you, versus one where you have custodial control. So one where you hold your own private keys and essentially own your own money. The difference is you're putting your money in likely a very unregulated bank or you're holding it yourself. Given the choice of the two, I would hold it myself because there are security options available, and I don't trust any other company with my money, especially some of these shady exchanges. You don't even know who's running them, and there's little or no tech help. Yeah, you want to be careful. Actually, story of the day. I was doing some work for a Bitcoin company. There's a guy came in. He wanted to sell some MadeSafe that he had, exchange it for Bitcoin, and then sell his Bitcoin to the company. The company I worked for doesn't deal with MadeSafe, so I was trying to help him, but Shapeshift at the moment was down, so he couldn't trade his coins that way. So I was trying to figure out a Poloniex account for him because I didn't see it being traded on Bittrex. Anyways, long story short, it was taking way too long, and I was like, listen, here's what we'll do. I have a Poloniex account myself. We'll send the coins to my account. I'll trade them. I'll take the risk of holding those coins for however long before they approve. I'll just sell you the Bitcoin amount now. So I did that. Well, guess what? Didn't show up in my account. I've now submitted a ticket. It's been just shy of a week. Haven't heard a damn thing back. So I guess I deserved that. Again, it comes with the territory. It sucks. Luckily it wasn't like thousands of dollars. It was like a few $100, but still, that really sucks. I don't like that. So yeah, I don't know. I'll let you know if Poloniex comes back to me, but it's not looking great. I'm assuming that I just lost that money. So, Kenn Bosak has a Litecoin tattoo now. Well, more power to him. I mean, that's awesome. Uh, but if you want to be contrarian, you could short Litecoin right now. Long term, I think it's going to continue. Everything is going to continue to go up. But yeah, for the short term, you see too many crypto tattoos going around, then you might be time that things turn around. It's me, Boss Lady is here. Good to see you. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, thoughts on Exodus. Oh, wait, actually, sorry, I'm going to go one step up here. I don't know how to say the name. Eoin? Eoin White. Thoughts on Bitcoin Cash, bad or good idea? I've talked about this before. Personally, I don't see the value in Bitcoin Cash. I think their approach is a very kick the can down the road kind of approach. You're going to need different scaling solutions besides just increasing the block size. It's not going to be feasible to continue to do that. And then you get into latency issues where you can't even download the block fast enough to verify that your transaction is legitimate. You run into a lot of issues when you just arbitrarily increase it over and over again. You're going to hit a sticking point where it's very difficult to continue that way, which I think is why the roadmap of Core of trying to squeeze out as many, how would I put this? As many, I guess, trying to make it as efficient as possible with its base layer before resorting to block size increases. I think that's a pretty sensible approach. And I know that it results in higher fees at the moment, but it's more of a long-term, like, let's get this shit locked down, and then, okay, maybe we'll do block size increases as we figure out new technologies to optimize. But I don't know. I look at Bitcoin Cash and it's just like bigger, and that's the solution there. So I don't know. That being said, do I think it's going away? No, people like to trade things. It had the advantage of being the first major Bitcoin fork that got a lot of traction. So it'll continue to be traded. But I think they're going to see a lot more of these Bitcoin forks of people forking off and saying, well, you had one Bitcoin, so you now have one Bitcoin Cash or one Bitcoin Gold or one Bitcoin Money or whatever the hell else the forks are going to be named, because I'm sure there's going to be more. And eventually, people will stop caring about them. And with each new one, people are going to say, yeah, but that's the real Bitcoin, and then this is something else. So with more and more of these, people will start to recognize, okay, well, this is the main Bitcoin and this is something else. Not to say that the other ones won't be used, but for me, I would rather hold the main Bitcoin. Also, as Adam Meister, I had him on the show the other day, he was talking about Bitcoin, and it just becomes this like altcoin pinata. So you're holding Bitcoin and all of a sudden, oh, I've got Bitcoin Cash. That was nice. Like holding Bitcoin, all of a sudden I've got Bitcoin Gold. All of a sudden I've got whatever the hell other fork. I've got 2x. I've got Bitcoin 2x. I don't know. So I could be wrong, but I feel like the more and more that this happens, the less traction these spin-offs are going to have, and the more clear it's going to become what Bitcoin is. Anyways, moving on. Clayton Campbell, thoughts on Exodus? It seems like a great wallet, but has high transfer fees. The high transfer fees likely have to do with the actual Bitcoin network. I don't know if you've tried sending other cryptocurrencies back and forth, like sending Dash or something to another Dash wallet out of Exodus, and likely the fees are pretty comparable with the rest of the network. That being said, I have noticed that some wallets are not as good at calculating fees as others. Like I've used to use Copay all the time. Yeah, I completely ditched it. Don't get me wrong, the user interface is very pretty and works very well, although not as well as the older version of it did. But the fees were just stupid. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, and that one wasn't attributed to network congestion. Yes, fees are higher because of that. But the fees calculated by Copay or like the BitPay wallet, which are essentially the same thing, were astronomical. And I, like, working for the business I worked for, they were regularly sending out transactions and got just stuck with 10, 20, $30 transaction fees on like the cheapest setting. Unbelievable. So anyways, yeah, long story short, I don't use Copay anymore. I use my Cilium on my phone. Find that one's pretty good. Again, it just has like a low priority, high priority, regular, and like economical settings. So you can adjust it that way, but I find that the calculation done is a little bit better. It would still be much better if you could do custom fees, because most of these wallets have not change their algorithms for dynamically calculating the fees, and a lot of users are getting screwed because of it. So let's hope that gets fixed. Either way, I also look forward to SegWit being rolled out for my Cilium and other wallets, because that will help cut down on fees as well. But Exodus, I love it. I think it's probably one of the cleanest, easiest to use multi-currency wallets out there, and it makes me sad that it's not on mobile. That being said, I can appreciate that it's not, because they're focusing on making a good wallet first, and then they'll do it on mobile. That's what they've said to me. That's what they've said to lots of other people. Is holding on my Ether wallet as safe as Exodus? Well, depends how you're doing it. It's safer than Exodus if you're using something like a Trezor or a Ledger Nano S. You can plug that in and use that via my Ether wallet. They can port you to that site. If you're just logging in every time with your private keys, probably not. Probably not. Yeah, they have some different options there, but yeah, some of the options may not be as secure as others. KeepKey seems like a good offline option. I do really enjoy my KeepKey. Also, they were just acquired by Shapeshift, which means they probably have a lot more money going into development. So you may see some great improvements with the software pretty soon. I'm rooting them on. I hope that they become my favorite. You know, like if that's the case, then awesome. So yeah, I hope to see great things from KeepKey. I talked to the CTO, and he's a really nice guy. His name is Kenn, and his last name is HODLer. Yes, he legally changed his last name to HODLer, and I love that. That could also be another contrarian indicator if you want to short Bitcoin. But I don't know. That's awesome. I like his dedication. You can't fault the guy for being dedicated. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, okay, Shanice. So I'm still learning. My initial impression of Bitcoin was to use it as a savings. What videos should I watch to learn about the trading? If you're just learning about Bitcoin, I would not recommend trading it, especially if you have never done any sort of trading whatsoever, like stock trading. If you're a pro star stock trader, then you could probably clean up. If you are somebody that heard about Bitcoin and then read a few books on trading, you're going to get wrecked. So don't try and time the markets. The best bet for me, and I've tried some trading early on and I got destroyed. I would have been much better off just holding it. So if I could give one piece of advice, if you want to see solid, reliable gains over an extended period of time, then your best bet in crypto right now is to just buy and hold Bitcoin for the long term. Now you can do this also with some other maybe top 10, but also look at how long a particular coin has been around. If it's the flavor of the week and it just popped into the top 10 and just came into existence last week, then maybe hold off on that one. But stuff like LITECOIN, I mean, Ethereum, there are issues there, but I still think that demand will outpace the issuance of new tokens. And things like Monero, because it has a specific use case, it's very anonymous, and that people are using that for darknet. So yeah, be careful with the trading thing. I wouldn't recommend that if you're just getting into Bitcoin. Learn the basics first. What exchange do I like best? I have very limited access to exchange in Canada. Pretty much there are 3 now. Of the ones that exist, I've only used Quadriga CX, so I don't really have much input. Now, I have used Coinbase out of the US. Although now it's not very user friendly for Canadians. I'm from Canada, so like the limits for a Canadian. First of all, you have to pay with a credit card, which comes out as a cash advance, which means you're paying extra interest on that. On top of that, with their credit card fees and everything on top of that, it's the rate you're getting sucks. Also, they have limits of like I think it's $250 a month, which is crazy. So yeah. But it looks pretty. So if you're in the US and maybe you get better rates and you have higher limits, then it could be a good option for you. But I always recommend buying and then pulling it out of Coinbase because they are a bank. They can hold your funds. They can cut off your account. They can do all those kinds of things on a whim. So get it into your own wallet if you're using Coinbase as a buying tool. Also check out GDAX because GDAX is the back end, like the trading platform for Coinbase, and your fees are going to be way less there if you just learn a little bit about how the platform works. Okay. Let's see here. Ben, what Dash coin wallet do you recommend? The one we talked about earlier, Exodus. Awesome. For mobile, I've never owned just a Dash wallet on my phone. Jax. Jax is really the only game in town right now, other than if you're on Android, one called Koinami. But I don't even know if they have Dash, to tell you the truth. You'd have to download and check, but I hate recommending Dash. I've just had, sorry, not Dash. I hate recommending Jax. I've just had so many problems with inconsistent balances. And anyways, Jax, use it at your own risk. Okay. Somebody said you can set your own fees in copay. Don't use default. I'm pretty sure you can set the type of fees that you... Let me just double check this. Okay. Okay, I just want to see. I'm double checking. I'm checking if there is a setting for fees. So there's a thing in... Okay, so there's a thing in Copay that allows you to do this. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So there's this screen, and this is where you set your fee policy. And you can either do it to urgent, priority, normal, economy, or super economy. So that's all I see. I don't know if that maybe during a transaction, maybe there's you can set your own rate, but I haven't seen that from Copay. Maybe in BitPay, maybe that's might be different. But yeah, that's what I see. But I mean, at the time, super economy was what we were using, and it was ridiculous how high the fees were still. Okay, what online wallets support SegWit transactions? I could be a little behind on this. I know that Trezor has it now. I know that the Ledger Nano S, I know those aren't online wallets. But also, I think Green Address is the other one, or Green Bits, or something along those lines. I'm not sure which other ones have enacted it yet. Also, what was it? I saw another company talking about it. Is it Open Bazaar, like the online merchant marketplace? There's a couple others I was thinking of, but yeah, I don't know. You'd have to check. I think there's even a SegWit website. Let me just see here. SegWit website. Let's check. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Segwit.org. Okay. Research on the fly. Let's see what I can get. Segwit.org. They're saying featured posts, SegWit adoption, understanding. I'm not seeing a lot specifically about Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot about what wallets have enacted them, so you'd probably have to do a little bit of research. I'm not positive, but I know Green Address was one, Trezor, and Ledger. Okay, blockchain.info does dynamic fees. Yes, most do. Most wallets do dynamic fees where it tries to calculate on the spot. It's those dynamic fees that need updating though, because some wallets are not very good at calculating. They estimate like sometimes 100% or 100 times more than you need to be paying. So if you go to, it's from the 21.co website. I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it. Hold on a sec. Okay. So this website is bitcoinfees.21.co. Okay. And this shows you a little chart of Bitcoin transactions and how long you can expect them to take. Okay. So over on the left side is the number of Satoshis per byte that you have included with your transaction. Down at the bottom, it says that the fastest and cheapest transaction fee is currently 270 Satoshis per byte. So the median transaction size is about 226 bytes right now, meaning that you would need to spend 61,000 Satoshis roughly for a regular transaction. So that's where you're seeing this middle bar, not the top where there's the two super long ones, but the middle one that's kind of jutting out there. That's kind of the sweet spot to jump into. That being said, if you set lower fees, it looks like they're still getting through just fine all the way down. You could probably set a really, really low custom fee and be fine. But I find that this is a pretty good website to take a look at fees, and you can also learn a little bit about how fees are calculated. So hopefully you find that helpful. Okay. Am I still a fan of WireX? WireX, yeah, I still like using WireX. So there was a bit of a bombshell recently. All of these companies that issue Bitcoin Visa cards or Bitcoin MasterCards or whatever the hell they are, there's one main company that was helping them with those like prepaid Visa cards, and it was called Wavecrest Holdings. Well, with Visa, bothering them, they essentially got bullied into pulling support for everywhere except for the Eurozone, as far as I know. So that means that anybody in the US, Canada, or basically anywhere else that ordered a card, well, they're not going to work anywhere outside the Eurozone soon. So that means that the card that I have for WireX, which is now the second one because they switched from MasterCard to Visa, and they gave me a new free card when they did that. But again, it's essentially the second card now that's useless to me. I won't be able to use it in about a month, which, I mean, that's fine. I understand, like, as far as the company goes, they're doing the best job that they can. They're having to deal with banks and Visa. And as a company, like having worked for some of these companies, I see the shitstorm of just regulatory mess that they're having to deal with. Not even regulatory, just the incumbents being dickheads. It's pretty much what it is. And they're just not allowing this technology to move nearly as quickly as it would if there were no boundaries. But I mean, that comes with the territory. You go to disrupt global payments, and you're gonna expect some pushback. So yeah, WireX is kind of got stuck with that, but they do have multiple. They're now dealing with multiple card issuers, and when I asked them about it, they said that no, we have a solution. We have another card company. This one will be contactless, like with tap and everything, and chip and all that. So yeah, so apparently that's solved for them. For some of these other companies, they were specifically relying on Wavecrest, so they're going to have to pivot. I don't know if that includes the 10x card. That I feel like 10x just went through a whole lot with the whole China banning ICOs, followed by this whole debacle with the wave crest. Like, if they were affected by that, then man, yeah, rough month. But at least they've raised millions of dollars. Okay, let's see. What's your opinion on salt lending? I do not know a lot about it. I would have to do some research, so I'm gonna stay away from that for now. Okay. Somebody said not user friendly in Wyoming either. I'm not sure what they're talking about there. Okay. Have you used the Canadian Bitcoins exchange? No, I haven't yet. I don't actually. I didn't even know that was a thing. Canadian Bitcoins. Huh. What do you know? Holy hell. They've got a hell of a spread there. You can buy Bitcoin at 58.37. This is Canadian dollars. All right, I'm just comparing this to Quadriga CX. Let's pull up what I'm looking at. Canadian Bitcoins. So their buy price at the top here is 58.37. Their sell price, if you want to sell your Bitcoin, you're going to get 53.84. So there's a $500 spread there. Oh my God. Let's look at the spread on Quad and just see by comparison. So if you want to buy Bitcoin on Quad right now, you would have to pay $58.19. If you want to sell, you'd be selling at around 57. Yeah. So if you want to sell your Bitcoin, you better be going to Quad, because holy shit, 5,300. You're taking a $400 and something hit. No thanks. So yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, I probably won't be using it. It sucks. Oh well. All right. Okay, let's see. Koinami has Dash. Does it? Okay, awesome. I can... Oh, Surgeon says you can pay 10 Satoshis per byte custom. That's awesome. All right, well, that's good. Maybe that's... I'm on Android, so maybe I'm not seeing that on mine, but I'll have to check that out. Okay, let's see. Coinbase needs to hurry the F up and include New Zealand. How can you include Australia, not New Zealand? Yo. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's see here. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping ahead as much as I can so I don't miss anything. Oh, Futurology says, when I said dynamic fees on blockchain, I meant you can change your fee with whatever you wish. Oh, that's great. Awesome. Okay. Chris Crypto says, what is the picture behind you to my right and your left? So this is my left. I don't know if that's... I'll pull it down for you. Sorry, it's kind of... Okay, you're going to see my computer screen. But anyways, it's pretty sweet. It's crypto art. Let me find the website. Hold on. Okay. Crypto art. I think it's cryptoart.com. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay, so this is a website. This is some of the best Bitcoin and crypto related art I've ever seen in my entire life. So, whoops. So yeah, this stuff is unbelievable. This artist just deserves all the credit in the world for having these amazing, like these crypto looking, they're so awesome. So anyways, if you get the chance, check out cryptoart.com, and they have like, you can get prints and everything. These are just nothing short of beautiful. So yeah, I don't know, like, and you can, and actually these can be encoded so that they actually have a QR code that holds Bitcoin in them. So anyways, yeah, awesome, awesome artist. I love seeing stuff like that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so in Exodus FAQ, they seem to indicate risk of loss of transaction. So I was wondering if that was a sales pitch or perhaps indicated some risk of low priority transactions across the board. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I think that maybe they're just covering their asses just in case you make a mistake. But like I've never had any issue with any transaction on Exodus. I've had slow transactions using the shapeshift feature, but that's usually resolved through shapeshift itself, and you give them their information, they can sort it out. But yeah, I don't know. I've had nothing but good experiences with Exodus. Okay. Essentially, all of the pushback at Wirex and Visa and latency fees on transactions, we can say that Bitcoin is far from becoming a good payment solution for daily small purchases. Yes, Ivan, I agree. Yeah, Bitcoin's not there yet. It's not. I mean, that's kind of initially not the point. We have, like, as especially Western culture in general, and actually now Eastern, like all over the world, other than like in developed countries, there's amazing payment solutions. I can go to a store and I can tap my debit card and pay instantly without having to think or do anything. I can pay for an Apple purchase by scanning my fingerprint and it's connected to my credit card. That was not the issue. I mean, yes, you want cheap global transactions, but I mean, cheap person to person, like, I mean, I can go to the store right now and pay with debit. It's fine. It's the censorship resistant sound money that to me is the killer app. Like, that has to be established first. Number one, you shouldn't be able to easily change Bitcoin, because if you can, then that's when we go down the road of inflation, and I don't want inflationary currency. Two, it's got to be a store of value. And so speaking of inflation, you know, like I want to have money that if I save it, it's not going to be worth even less each subsequent year. I want my savings to actually be worth more down the road. And I don't want to have to guess and gamble on picking the right company to invest in and hope that my savings don't disappear. So I've got, right now your choices are put away your money for retirement and watch them dwindle away to nothing, or take your retirement money and consistently gamble it on the stock market and hope that you're picking the right companies, or put it in an index fund and hope that the stock market doesn't crash right when you need to cash out. So when I look at that, I'm thinking, well, I'd rather have a store of value and a sound money first, and then have the transactions come secondary to that. But I want that base layer to be solid before we tackle the issue of quick, easy transactions. Okay, let's see. Kiwis use local Bitcoin. Seems to be okay. Yeah, you can just be careful. Make sure you don't get scammed. Yeah, I like this. RRPPRP says, it took paper money 800 years to be universally accepted, and Visa, etc. still decades. Bitcoin acceptance is a lot faster. Yeah, absolutely. The fact that my aunt and my parents and people around me are starting to ask about Bitcoin, and it's been around for 8 years, and it's regularly on the news. Also, we live in an information age where a new technology comes out and you can hear about it instantly. You know, everybody's got a computer in their pocket nowadays, and they're always connected to the internet. So it facilitates the quick adoption of new currencies, but new technologies. But through that, yeah, new currencies potentially. So yeah, I think that the adoption of cryptocurrency is going to be a lot faster than anything that came before it. But I also think people overestimate what a new technology can do in a short amount of time, but then underestimate what it can do in, say, a decade. All right. Let's see here. Roman says, is now a good time to buy Bitcoin, you think? And Miss Peter Rabbit replies, Clayton Campbell, it sure is, dude. I mean, the main question to ask yourself is, do you think Bitcoin will ever be worth more than it is now? If you think no, then don't buy any. If you think yes, then yeah, go buy some. Don't worry about if it's, I mean, you shouldn't be trying to, if you're just getting into it, don't try to time it. Just ask yourself, how long are you going to, first, how long are you going to hold on to it for? And do you think it'll be worth more by the end of that time period? So in my head, first of all, I'm thinking that I'm going to hold most of it for a lot of my life and then gradually spend as I get, further and further into my life. But let's say I had a 5-year time horizon. Well, do I believe Bitcoin's going to be worth more in 5 years? You're damn right I do. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. But I'm willing to take that bet because the potential reward vastly outweighs the amount of money that I put into it. So also in that time, I know that the supply is going to taper, right? We just had a halving in 2016. I know that in 2020, the supply gets cut in half again. So I also know that even if demand stays the same, even if there's no further adoption, but the current demand just stays steady, then the price has to double as of the 2020 halving, just to maintain that price. So when I look at that, I think that while everything encompasses some risk, I think that risk is worth taking for me. But again, I'm not putting money into it that I can't afford to lose. I'm not going to use my rent money. Okay, let's see. Brett with the NDP. Man, every time. That's okay. I see you. All right. Chris Crypto is saying how the white paper says peer-to-peer electronic cash doesn't say ultimate store value. No, I agree. It says that. It didn't say specifically when it was going to achieve that or what roadblocks might be in the way, but it just depends what you want to sacrifice. If you want peer-to-peer cash, you can literally use Bitcoin Cash and send it peer-to-peer. That's fine. That's awesome. And or Dash or Litecoin or all of those, they have cheap transactions currently. And I encourage people to use them. If they have to use cheap transactions, absolutely. Use Litecoin. I love Litecoin. But I feel that some of the fundamentals need to be addressed first. You need to have that solid base layer, because if you start arbitrarily changing things that aren't, I don't know, from a computer science standpoint, that are unnecessary and can impede the decentralization of the network, well, then you're just going to end up with banks replaced by large companies and by miners. So that's not something I want to see. And I would rather deal with the higher fees at the moment while solutions are created. And if I need cheap transactions, I've got a million other options right now. So that's fine for me. If it's not fine for some people, then that's why we have so many options. And that's the whole beauty of cryptocurrency. You have so many options. And I think that's a fantastic thing. Okay, let's see. Tyler, you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. Yeah, that I got that shirt as well from cryptograffiti.com. You can buy a shirt that says you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin on it. I wore it on one of my other live streams. Love it. Brett Harvey, at what age will you get your kid into crypto? She's already been on the show, man. She's in crypto. I've got some Bitcoin set aside for her as a surprise when she's older. Hopefully it's worth lots. Zach says, if it becomes a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, it will become a store of value. That's what will cause the price to rise, mass adoption. I disagree with the order of that. You can have a peer-to-peer electronic cash system that is not particularly valuable. So look at like Dogecoin. You know, look at any other plethora of cryptocurrencies. And also, you have to ask if it becoming a peer-to-peer cash system is what's going to cause it to be a store of value. Why does the price continue to rise when transaction fees are higher? Well, people are still finding utility in it. And I'll be the first to admit, yeah, it super sucks when I go to send a transaction and its network's bogged down and I'm paying higher fees than I was, say, a year or two ago. But like I said, I'm willing to do that in exchange for maintaining the sanctity of that base layer and not just diving through hoops every time everybody gets upset over it. Like I want that base protocol layer to be solid, and I trust that the best scientists, computer scientists in the world are working on this. There's like 100 and something core devs all contributing. And those people, like, you have to look at the people involved too. They're not, look at the history of where they've come from. Like, a bunch of them are cited in the white paper as inspirations for Bitcoin. So there were the original cypherpunks working on this shit years ago. You know, I don't think they're being influenced by the almighty dollar. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, they could easily just fold and throw in anything that people wanted, but they're trying to stay with the fundamentals first. Okay. Suggestions to people who can't invest thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency right now. Just start little, man. Like, I started with $50. I bought my first $50 worth of Bitcoin. I paid like a stupid fee for it because it was on a site that had really high fees. But I learned about it and I got to play around with it, and that was great for me. So yeah, man, don't think that you have to go and sink a few grand into this stuff right away. Also, if you're doing it long term, like, you can dollar cost average. That's where, regardless of what the price is, you say, well, I can afford to put $50 every month in this, and that's what I'm comfortable doing. We'll do that. Regardless of what the price is, set a day. Okay, once a month on this date, I buy $50 worth of Bitcoin. When the price is up, okay, you get a little bit less Bitcoin. When the price is down, well, you get more Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin that you got will be worth more when it goes up again. So dollar cost average is an easy way to do it if you have an income where you can only put a tiny portion into it. Okay. Yes, Miss Peter Rabbit basically echoed what I just said. Invest a small amount each week. Oh, Graham says BitNational office on 17th and 9A Calgary. What happened to it? Oh, we're moving. So that office is shut down. We're moving to Kensington. If you know where the Plaza Theater is, and then there's like an escape room beside it now, and then the next door over, there is a 2-story building with a cement staircase going up. We're in the top left corner, suite number 5. So yeah, anyways, this nice big open workspace is going to be so much better. We were all crammed into this tiny office answering calls and emails and stuff, and it sucked. So anyways, it's going to be way better. I'm super excited to see it. The guys are currently tearing up and reinstalling new flooring and painting and all that stuff. So hopefully it'll look halfway decent when they open the doors on Monday. So in, what's today, Wednesday? In like 5 days. All right. Yeah, It's Me Boss Lady also has a very good point as far as somebody just that doesn't have a lot of money to sink. Andreas Antonopoulos says, learn and don't trade. I would agree. Learn to earn. Yeah, that's a great idea. Like, just start learning. The knowledge that you get from learning about cryptocurrency before the majority of the planet really knows how it works is invaluable. So start your research, start learning about it. And let's say all of a sudden Bitcoin fails. Does that mean that your knowledge is useless now? Absolutely not, because some iteration of it will continue to exist and you will have a leg up on everybody else who didn't bother to learn. So yes, start learning. And then if you still find you can't put any money into crypto, see if you can find a way to earn it. Figure out what you offer, what kind of service or product that you can offer, and see if you can sell it for Bitcoin. There you go. All right, let's see. As in Kensington ruins? I don't know. Kensington ruins. No, like Kensington downtown Calgary, just north of downtown on 10th. Well, off of 10th, you turn left down Kensington Road. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, it's 1145 Kensington Crescent Northwest. We'll be posting it. It'll be up on social media, so just hit BitNational on Twitter. It'll be up probably on the weekend. Okay, let's see. Found a BitNational ATM. Took my son to it. Bought $30 worth of Bitcoin. It's all I could afford this month. Just buy what you can. Yeah, absolutely. Like the ATM fees, no matter what ATM you're going to, odds are the fees are a little bit higher on ATMs because those machines are crazy expensive. It's like 20 grand to put in a machine. Then you also have to buy the coins and stock the machine if it's direct, or you have to link into an online exchange. And if you're linking to an external exchange, you're also paying the fees to source your coins from there. So that's why you see fees on ATMs be really high. It tends to be cheaper using online exchanges. But the ATMs are all about convenience, you know, going up, scanning your QR code, putting in a bill, and having Bitcoin right away. So yeah, that's what you see there. But yeah, absolutely. Like, do what you can, and don't stress yourself out because you feel like you're missing out. You know, there's going to be if crypto takes off, you're not missing out buying it right now. It's going to take time for things to build. Somebody from Saskatoon. Awesome. Where, it just peeked up on me. Where is that? Saskatoon. I just saw my wife and baby are in Saskatchewan right now in a place called Wadena, I guess, a little town. Anyways, I might have already been driving past that. I'm not sure. Yeah, anyways. Okay, Catriona, Ben, your hair looks really cool. Thanks. My friends give me shit for it. They make fun of me. Would investing into putting crypto ATMs in my area be a feasible idea? So a lot of things to consider. You got to see where you're at, what the regulations are around that kind of stuff. If you're in the States, you're in for a shit ton of red tape. If you're in Canada, not so much. But yeah, you're going to have to get a machine, find a location, figure out if you're going to have to pay the person to have that location there. You're also going to have to get the coins in advance so that you have coins to sell. Okay, Sarisian says ATM fees are too high, 15% for most. If you're in Eastern Canada, that is absolutely true from what I've heard. I've heard as high as 17%. I've heard New York State is getting up towards 25% fees, which is ridiculous. I think the BitNational ATMs range from 6 to 8%. With the rates pulled from Quadriga. Some of the other local competition, I'm not sure, but you can always go to coinatmradar.com. That will give you a blanket of all the ATMs in your area, and you can click on each one, see if it's buy and sell, and you can also see the rates and what company it's from in most cases. So, you know, then you can get a competitive edge and see where's best for you. Let's see. Brett, are you investing in Kyber Network ICO? I don't drop money on ICOs, man. They scare me. I could probably make bank, but there's so many ICOs coming out that, like, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, no, I was thinking about playing around with some ICOs, but now there's so many that I think that it's just it's hitting the point where there's market saturation, and unless it's like a massive one, then you could get screwed. Yeah, I don't know, and that could be a good one. I kind of stopped paying attention to ICOs now, other than that fucking Paris Hilton one. Are you kidding me with that garbage? Oh man, that's when I really, that kind of sent me over the edge, and I was like, no, maybe I won't put money into ICOs. So yeah, I was just about there, and then I saw that, and I was like, nah, no thanks. Okay, USDT, so Tether. Tether is a cryptocurrency that is tied to the US dollar pretty closely anyways. So basically, you use Tether if you think that the crypto markets are going to go down, and you can basically switch to Tether, hold on to that, because then you have like a constant dollar rate for your crypto all just sitting there. And then when you think the cryptocurrency is going to be on the way back up, you move out of Tether and back into whatever currency you were holding before. So yeah, it's just kind of like a hedge when you think the markets are headed down. That's all. Hey, oh, I just missed one. Hey, BTC Sessions. I've only just joined. I want to ask two things. What do you think Bitcoin could rise to by mid-2018? Also, do you think too many people focus on profiting and not actually using it as a currency? Okay, let's tackle the price first. Price 2018. See, that's a good question, because we've had a hell of a year. And I don't think this year is done as far as price increase goes. But I'm also looking back at history, Bitcoin history, which is not super long, at the last halving and what happened then. So that happened in 2012. The year after the Bitcoin halving, you had two pretty sizable, well, just massive bubbles in relation to anything before. And then it was followed after, you know, a really good beginning to the year, and then a pullback, and then a really good end to the year. And then after that, you started to see basically a 2 or a year and a half long to 2 year bear market, where everything sucked. The price dropped quite a bit, and then it just did nothing for an extended period of time until eventually starting to go back up. And then eventually eclipse all-time highs. So I'm kind of conflicted this time around, because I look at everything, I look how quickly things are moving, and I think, okay, well, yeah, I think there's a lot that can happen in the rest of the year, and we could see quite a drive in price higher. But I worry that there's going to be another bear market. And the only reason eventually there will be a bear market for everything. It's just they're more intense for things like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. And a bear market in crypto will definitely wipe out any of the like shit coins that don't have any real world value, which is a lot. So anybody any bag holders that are just like picking a few random alts and hoping that those will be their magic ticket to to riches. When a bear market hits, those people will be totally wiped out. If you're a Bitcoin hodler and you sit this out and you maybe like gradually buy over the course of the bear market, then you will do very, very well for yourself, I imagine. But yeah, I don't know. The reason I'm conflicted, like I said, is because I don't know, with all of this adoption and all the stuff going on in crypto, that we're gonna see a bear market this quickly. I think it could go on for a little bit longer. And I don't think it's gotten so irrational based on current utility that we could get that big of a bear market yet. You know, if we ramped up and we hit like, I don't know, $10, $15, $20,000, then absolutely I could see a massive pullback, and then like 2 years of sitting at $5,000 and everybody thinking that the sky is falling. But at current prices, I don't know that we're there yet. I could be wrong, and you know, we could drop to $2,000 next year and sit there for a year and a half, and that would really suck, because a lot of new people obviously joined in like at these highs of $45,000 to $5,000. But I get, you know, nobody has a crystal ball. Okay, the other part, do you think too many people focus on profiting and actually instead of using it as a currency? Well, I mean, again, there's a lot of technology to be built to make it more efficient as a currency. Right now, it's not efficient as a currency, but I think it's on its way. So, yeah. I think a lot of people focus on the money making, and I see that a lot too. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I also think that it depends on the type of person. If it's a person that's like, I want to put money into this because I read on this for a year straight and I know it inside and out, and I think this is the next most incredible technology to take the world by storm, then I don't think that's a bad thing. If you're a person that just saw, well, Bitcoin started at $1,000 this year and now it's 4,500, I'm going to buy a whole bunch. Well, yeah, those people maybe should focus more on learning about the technology. Okay, I'm going to try and wrap this up pretty quick here. I'm going to see what's down here in the chat. So I'm BTC or BCH, only question needed to answer. BTC, man, like I sold my Bitcoin Cash. I'm still at peace with that. I have no use for Bitcoin Cash. If I want a quicker, cheaper means of transaction via cryptocurrency that has larger block size and more transactions per second, I will use LITECOIN. I look at Bitcoin Cash and I say, well, essentially that's, you know, you've got the same transaction throughput as LITECOIN essentially. So okay, I'll pick a couple last ones. Brett Harvey says BitConnect equals scam. Yes, don't use BitConnect. I don't want to see people lose money. I worry about people using BitConnect. It's I don't know, I try not to. I feel like I don't need to make any more scam videos. I made one on LITECOIN, and whenever somebody asks me if something is a scam, I say, go watch my LITECOIN video. If it sounds exactly like the thing you've just invested in, it's probably a scam. Okay. All right. Chris Crypto, have a great night. Thanks for coming in. Can I make a new channel called Bitcoin Cash Sessions? No. It would be satire. It would be straight up satire. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll do one last one. Why would you use Bitcoin as a currency when it's going up and down like a whore in a crack tree? Okay, so yeah. I'm going to touch on that and then I'm going to wrap up. So as far as Bitcoin as a currency, That sentiment there, although crudely worded, I agree with. Bitcoin still has a small market cap. I know it's growing a lot this year, but in the grand scheme of things, a very, very small market cap, and so it's susceptible to huge swings. And as a currency, that is scary, especially to people in Western countries where their currency is relatively stable. Yeah, it might swing a little bit, but you're not seeing 10-20% in a day. So I think that Bitcoin has to get to a place where its market cap is so massive that a billion or a few $1 billion flowing into and out of the market doesn't move the price of a coin very much. You know, like you don't want to see those kinds of swings from day to day. Now, granted, when it's not super volatile, you maybe see swings of like a couple percent in a day, maybe 5 or 6 if it gets choppy, and then if shit hits the fan, you see 10% in a day maybe. But that's few and far between. So, you know, it's getting better. You used to see way bigger price swings, and that comes with a larger market cap, is percentage wise less volatility. And I think when we get to a point where that volatility is negligible and it's just kind of steady growth, then at that point Bitcoin will be best suited to be a currency. And also at that point, the types of layers and transaction solutions built on top of it will be seamless and instant and probably damn near free. So yeah, I'm not expecting too much of Bitcoin right away. Like people assume it's supposed to be amazing out the gate. We're 8 years in and there's a lot of work to do. So don't expect everything right away. Patience, young Padawan. All right, I'm going to wrap up here, guys. A couple things before I go. First of all, hit that like button, share this video. Second of all, if you can, please do follow me on Steemit. You can find me on Steemit at benperrin117. So that is BENPERRIN 117. And that's on Steemit. So I'll just fade in really quick. Anyways, you can hit me up on Steemit here. The reason I started using Steemit is because YouTube is by default demonetizing my videos, which means that I basically am getting screwed on YouTube revenue. So that's just kind of helps me supplement it. If you give me an upvote on things like this, then it helps. Also, if you want to help the show in another way, my two favorite wallets are the Ledger Nano S and the Trezor. Ledger Nano S wins just by a smidge. So if you want to grab either one of those, links are down below in the description. If you do not like me and you don't like what I'm saying, then I still recommend those. Just go to the website independently and don't click on my link, and you don't have to worry about supporting my show in any way. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, as always, for joining me here. Sorry that the wifey and the baby couldn't be along, but maybe I'll line up some guests before I take off to visit them in Toronto and Montreal next in about a week and a half. Anyways, thank you guys very much. Have a great night, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.